Hi, I'm Tally, and fun fact, not only did I love Resident Evil, but as a kid I loved Star Wars. And don't bully me, right? I thought Anakin was really cool. Anyway, tangent aside, today I'm going to take on Resident Evil 8 as a Sith Lord, and by that I mean I'll be completing Resident Evil 8 with the Light Saber unlockable weapon. Now normally, you can only get this by double S ranking every Mercenaries map. However, I recently learned you can just spend £3 on it. So the rules of the run. All combat will be with the Light Saber. I do have a pistol for story progression, and I've got to kill as many enemies as possible. I'm trying to be Anakin after all. This will be done on New Game Plus so that I can use the lightsaber right from the get-go. And now please make sure to like, comment your favourite lightsaber colour and subscribe. Again, I would love to hit 500 subs by the end of the year. Now let's dive in, because this is a speedy one. Okay, so our protagonist Ethan has been having some bad dreams about losing his wife and daughter recently, and he got denied some sort of spot on a council. I don't know, must be an American thing. Anyway, his nightmares do come true because his wife Mia gets game ended with a few blaster shots to the dome, and our baby is subsequently kidnapped. We know how Resident Evil 8 goes by now. So we wake up after a nap in a place that looks a little bit like the icy planet of Hoth. And we decide the only rational thing is that we should go on a murderous rampage where pretty much everyone that crosses our path is nothing more than a victim to our unquenchable rage. Think the Doomslayer but with more dad jokes. So I make it to this old dude's house who immediately tries to shoot me. I ask him his name and he tells me it's Ben, which makes me feel some sort of way. So he gets to live. Only for a few minutes though, because he then immediately gets pulled through the roof and turned into a smoothie. I'll never forget you, Ben. He gave me a gun. And even though he felt it was uncivilized, I'll keep it on me as a good luck charm. Also because the game demands that you have a ranged weapon on you at all times. So on to avenging my fallen brother. I find one victim, and it wasn't easy. I thought the lightsaber was an instant kill on pretty much everything, but nah! This Lycan really made me feel silly. So I put him down, and then I put another Lycan down, and then I went on a rampage through the village survival trying to put down pretty much everything that came in my way, but embarrassingly enough, because of my lack of blocking, dodging and my love of balls to the walls aggression, it got me benned. So I immediately tried again with a bit more savvy. Second attempt went better, I even managed to beat Urias. I said I beat Urias. Well, I'm just going to have to do that to him again later on. Following that, I make it into the village, steal some plates from a church and meet my old enemy, the field. Now normally I use some sort of gag here to show that the main point of the run is actually avoiding conflict at all cost, but here I'm out for cauterized wounds, because I don't think you bleed when a lightsaber cuts you, so like cauterized wounds, can't say, but anyway, semantics aside, I wipe out the free Lycan in here and head into the little shack where I meet this couple called Owen and his daughter Moreau, who immediately bite the dust. The Empire had their eyes on them for a while, so something about their nephew look, I wasn't listening, if I'm honest. And now I head into the castle where I meet the boy. Run through some caves and meet the Duke. I unload everything he can take and then I break into some sort of Jedi temple. Turns out, not a Jedi temple. It's full to the brim with vampires. However, I've seen Twilight and decided that they have to stop existing now. So off I'll go on a rampage putting an end to just about everything that I happen to find. Blood-drained lady zombie thing? Deed. Flying things with tongues that remind me of those funny cartoons I've seen in Japan? Deed. And that's actually all the enemies I can think of that aren't bosses. I was hoping I could make this joke adhere to the rule of three. I suppose it's just not that funny. Psych. Trio of vampire lassies, very deed. Like I didn't expect them to be so easy, as in like every time I made them feel like a youngling in the temple, I had a moment of shock where I sat like, no, surely not. That was just too fast, and now I understand how it feels to be my girlfriend. But yeah, that was a goddamned atrocity I just committed, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm sorry about it. Definitely not sorry. And then somewhere in between my 5th and 6th one-sided vampire slaughter, I was wandering some tunnels and my transition to a Star Wars main character was complete. But it's okay, I got better. Ethan is just built different. Which now takes me on to Lady D. I really just used this fight as an excuse to stay as close as I could to her abominable booty and just give it a big old spank. Really though, that's what needs to be done. This still did absolutely fly in, but it took about as much time as I expected it to. It was kind of fun to be the aggressor here since I usually just chill back and fight from a distance. I am however filled with a tremendous amount of confidence and now ready to take on anything that comes in my way. And speaking of being in my way, there was a bunch of Lycan on this bridge who did just exactly that. Now they're Lycants. Get it, like Lycan, Lycant. And now that I've done all that, my job is to break into a house with a load of Lycan in front of where I need to be. However, they were in my way. Emphasis on where. I put these furries down like any reasonable Scottish person would. And again, not an easy feat. Not a fun feat. Because I'm not very good at this game. But I did get the key, I did kill that guy that I normally don't, unfortunate for him, and I went back to the Duke who told me that I've got some killing to do. And now that I have a new key, I have a new target. I felt a disturbance in the Force in the Beneviento house, meaning that she just cannot be allowed to exist anymore. When I make it to the house, I head to the basement and find a failed clone of Emperor Palpatine, and I decide that's just too much talk of the sequel trilogy for this portion of the video. So now I'm off to put an end to poor Donna. She was strong with the Force, but she had a thing for puppets, and that just makes me feel very uncomfortable. Next, I'm off to a lake on Naboo because I hear there's a Sando sea monster sighted. But while I'm there, I also might as well go get a jar of Star Soda. Okay, that joke wasn't great. I will be honest. I don't know what they drink in the Star Wars universe. So we'll just call it Star Soda and we'll chill out. Because it's not blue enough to be that weird blue milk. Anyway, on my way to the lake as usual, and I'm attacked by a big doggy. But this time, I had two things that I normally don't. An absolute unit of a weapon and an abundance of well-earned confidence to show this dog who the real alpha is around here. Now, let's go find that sea monster. So by the way, there was no sea monster, it was just Moreau. So for that horrible misdirection of my trust, he must die. In order to make that happen, I steal a key to a boat, putting down just about anything that was foolish enough to get in my way. Climbing up towers, stealing cranks, all the classic Moreau things. So after doing all those classic Moreau things, I managed to take him on in a 1-to-1, and this wasn't too bad either. Turns out, having a laser sword is actually pretty decent against a freaky fish guy. Then, despite Moreau being built like a literal tank made of other literal tanks, he went down easy enough. I don't think you can one-cycle him. I certainly cannot one-cycle him. So he ended up doing his acid rain once or twice, but that's not an issue. Definitely one of the longer fights that I'm going to go through in the challenge, but overall, like, it wasn't that much of an issue at all. After that, I'm off to the stronghold, where I'm normally running for my life and dodging like Patrick O'Houlihan was my coach. This time though, I went in ready to fight, and I was not ready for how many Lycan there were. The final section with the gate being a real pain in my ass, everything just kept grabbing me, and eventually, in my crusade to end all of them, I just sat behind a line where they couldn't get me, and I just started taking pop shots at them. Got grabbed again, rinse, repeat, until they were all down. And when I actually got in the building, I had a bit more patience in progressing, and while I still took some hits, I managed to get through it without breaking my keyboard. So that was fine. But then there's this asshole. He made me look silly earlier by not dying, even though I did in fact give him the old shish kebab treatment, so it's time for the rematch. I've grown strong with the Force, built my way to the top of the Sith ladder, and my rage will not be... Oh, he's dead now. For real this time as well. Now I'm off to the factory, and the factory was fun. Normally, I run through this avoiding and hiding as much as I possibly can, but this time, nah. This time, I decided everything in this factory should feel the sweet release of my laser sword. So cue a montage of absolute chaos. This just says more than I really ever could. Which now leaves us with Heisenberg. I wasn't sure you could actually reliably hit him, but I was wrong. Like, really wrong. Heisenberg was an absolute joke and I had no idea it would actually be this easy. I'm not even proud of like how I just literally made him look like fodder. Like, this dude's supposed to be the lead up to the final boss, your final hurdle before you get to the end game. Gosh darn, just made him look silly. Really, Lady D was harder than this. And now Ethan's dead. Here's where I would normally cut to the Chris segment, but as he does not own a lightsaber, he's not worth watching this time, so we're going to take it straight to the final boss. And now we have the duel of the fates we've all been waiting for. The two biggest and baddest around. It's a one-on-one duel. And I don't want to let you down, but after having this much practice, I cannot lose. And then I lost my first attempt. For my second attempt, I was a bit more careful and it paid off. Miranda's first phase lasts literally seconds if you get there quick enough, and the second phase isn't too much different, she's just a little taller. So, get in there and swing away. Now her flying phase can be annoying because she's a bit harder to reach. Not impossible at all, but just harder, and especially if you let her get away. By the way, Miranda can be really aggressive, so make sure to block effectively and dodge effectively too. Don't be too wild if she's in an attack animation and you'll be fine. Eventually, the fight came to a climax and I realised I was no match for her force mold powers. She pinned me down and got ready to smack me with a spirit bomb. I had to destroy that thing, and had no chance if I threw my lightsaber. So, this is it. This is where I lose. But then I heard it. Tally. Use the what, Ben? The Force? No, you idiot. Use the gun and put that bitch down. Ah, you see, that makes much more sense. Thank you for that. So I pulled out the pistol, and I let down as much ammo as I could pour into that thing, and while I'm on the brink of death, I pull out my lightsaber and deal the final finishing blows. Darth Miranda? More like Dead Miranda. Let's take it to the outro. Well, hot damn, this was a fun challenge. I don't know if I can call it a challenge because there wasn't too much challenge to it. Mob fights and big crowds definitely are a pain, but if you learn to crowd control then you're golden. I tried my best to beat everything that I could to channel that Sith energy, but let me know if you want to follow up beating the extra bosses, being the big doggy alpha and the two giants you can fight. As always everyone, I hope you enjoyed this, and of course if you did, please make sure to like the video and drop in the comments your thoughts on the run to feed the ever hungry YouTube algorithm. I don't think my next video is going to be Resident Evil 8 related, might branch out a little, but we'll see where that takes us. As always, please make sure to subscribe, because if I don't hit 500 subs by the end of the year, I'll have to tell my parents I'm a failure, and they'll let me know about it, and they'll tell me how cool and successful my little brother is. As always, you have been amazing, I have been Tally, I will catch you all next time. Bye.